Welcome back, Gadgeteers. So today I thought we'd make an interesting video since it's been a while since I did a video. I do have some Linux videos in the hopper, but I lost the portable drive that they're on, so I gotta find that, and then I'll be doing those hopefully soon. What I have for today is I'm gonna do the dressing on my left ventricle assist device, my LVAD. So I've had this thing for 5 years and I've only done it a couple of times because usually you want somebody else to do it for you. But if you haven't heard already, I'm going through a divorce, so taught myself how to do it. So please bear with me as I do this. If you are squeamish, this is the only warning you're going to get. If you are squeamish, just turn the video off now because I have an open wound that has been here for 5 years. Okay? We ready? All right. So here's the LVAD kit. And I'll just show you all the stuff that's on it. You can pause if you want. So I have a gown normally I would put on, well, the person doing the dressing change would put on, and I probably should make my sister put it on, but I'm gonna skip it because if we do, we'll have to pause the camera and do all kinds of funny stuff. It also comes with, and this is quite handy, instructions if you need them, just in case you forget something. So what I usually do is set it right here on top of my printer. You probably see that my hands are shaking. I don't know if you can see that, but the left hand has pretty much been shaking for the last 5 or 6 years, but the right one started shaking. So it's not because I'm nervous, although I am a little nervous. It's just because I can't stop them from shaking. Okay, so we're gonna pull this up. Make sure I have enough line. And I unwrap here. And I have 2 sets of gloves. These are the non-sterile gloves. If I had dropped the sterile gloves, that would have been a bit of a problem. Okay, so I'm going to put these on. All right. I've got to make sure the shirt stays up. Got to figure something out here. Okay, so these are just anchors. Very important when I'm walking around that I'm anchored so that if the LVAD device falls for any reason in my bag, it won't cause any damage. We don't like damage. So those come off first, and then this dressing has 2 different layers, so I'm going to start with the first layer. It is Tegaderm, I believe it's called. What usually happens when you start taking the first Tegaderm layer off is the second layer comes off automatically. It's not a problem, however, you do have to be careful because, and hopefully I won't do this, if you accidentally yank the line with the patch, it can hurt pretty bad. So I have this, it's called a Silverline patch, and it has a little line in it. So I'm going to use that line to separate it. Everything's really sticky, so it's kind of a pain. Okay, that goes that way. And there's the actual patch itself. we need to open this. And we are open. Okay, so we didn't use these gloves. I'm going to toss those aside. Those are probably bigger and I could have used those. All right. I think before I go on, will you put this mask on, Carla? Don't worry if you mess it up. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the kit here. And before I start messing around with stuff in the kit, because it's sterile and those are sterile gloves, I'm going to take my gloves off. So these are the sterile gloves. This is a hand wipe that you use, or actually, yeah, it is a wipe you use prior to starting anything over here. So let's get this done, and then I'll show you the rest of the kit. Okay, so now I use the hand wipe. This thing burns so bad if you have cuts in your hand. You'll find cuts you never knew you had. Incidentally, I washed my hands with hot soapy water before I started. But can't be too careful. Okay. I have large and I have medium. The last time I put the medium ones on, I was able to do it, but what a pain. Okay. I wanted to say while I'm doing this, I'm not going to bother editing the video, so if you see stuff that's boring like this, feel free to speed up. Okay, these are the sterile gloves, so now I only want to touch things that are inside here. I'm going to throw those mediums away, and I very carefully want to open this up. Make sure I don't knock anything down. Okay, so these you apply later, and I'll show you that, but before I do, you have to crack it to open it so that the sponge starts absorbing some of the fluid that's inside the center here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. There's a second one. You can see right there the fluid's coming out, so we'll hold off on that one. These are the sterile saline wipes. We're going to start with those. The saline wipes are the only thing that actually touches the actual wound site. There's a huge amount of saline inside these, so we wring them out. What I like to do is just like Felicia used to do, if you remember. Well, you don't remember, you never saw this before, forget it. So I'm kind of doing a seesaw type thing here. Then I go on the other side. Ooh. Try to be gentle because it doesn't feel very good when it gets hit. There's kind of a permanent scab there. Oops. I see I've got some glue right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, so I'm going to try and wipe that off. The glue probably came from the previous dressing. It's probably not a big deal, but I like to be careful. We only do 2 of the saline patches because we need one to squeeze the saline onto the dressing. Make sure I get everything. And no, it's not painful. It is if I jerk this cable, but normally it's not painful. Okay. What we need to do next is get inside this package. If it's the right package, let me check. Nope. This actually we're not going to use, so I can put it in the non-sterile section. This is the saline patch. I'm not quite there yet, am I? Before I use that, I've got to use these wipes. You have to be careful because you don't want to get it on the hole. If you do, it burns so bad. So you do it next to the hole, to within maybe, that was too close. Like an inch or so, half inch. My neighbor's cool. Then we throw it away. We let it dry. While we're waiting for that one, I'm going to go ahead and open up the Silverlon patch, which is made of exactly what it sounds like. It has silver inside it. Silver is a great metal to prevent any type of infection. That beeping is my LVAD telling me I need to change the batteries. But as you can see, I can't leave. So now I'm going to squirt saline solution soak it into the patch really good. Like so. Then while I'm waiting, this is dried now, I'm going to go ahead and do the second layer, second wipe. Since this is my last one, I'm going to go ahead and wipe this cable really good. I hope the beep isn't bothering you too much. Now I have to wait for it to dry, which is probably 30 or 40 seconds. I could turn that alarm off, but I'm not able to do it. Theoretically, I should have at least 15 minutes, and the whole patch procedure usually takes only 10 minutes, so I should be okay. All right, I'll take the Silverlon patch. Goes right over the opening like that. Silver face down, the antibacterial part of it down. And then we're gonna start putting the patch on. So this is part one of the patch, and it seems unusually hard in the corner. I hope it didn't get wet or something. I don't think so. Okay. So I'm going to take off the first part, and you can see a clear window in there. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to set it about right there. Gently, gently put this down like so. And then the bottom also has a part that we take off. Very carefully put that part on like that. Now, it's not perfect, but it's good. We have to put what everybody calls the pants on. So this is the bottom to go over the top here to ensure that it stays, the dressing stays on. So I'm going to put that right there. And then you pull this part. And we are now completely dressed. We're done with the non-sterile portion of everything. So I'm half tempted to go change my batteries because this is annoying, but not now. I'm not going to do it until I get the anchors on. Okay.
I can grab them if you know.
Well, yeah, will you? Grab they're in the front. You can leave that going.
They're in the front facing dresser.
Facing the chair. Well, what do you know? You get to see new batteries put on at the same time. This is getting more interesting.
Right?
What's that?
In the bedroom.
Yeah. So all the sterile part is completed. I'll just check everything since I'm still sterile. Okay. From here on out, it's non-sterile stuff, so no problem. I have my eye closed because I'm getting some problematic double vision. You kind of get to see all the problems I go through at once. So, go ahead and hand me one of the batteries. Okay, I'm going to put it on my lap right here. Take this one off, switch with that one. And since we're doing this, I'm going to let you hear what it sounds like if I wait too long and don't put the battery in. It's very angry. And that's fair because there's two batteries in here, and this is the controller. I think I've showed you guys this stuff before. So the controller has a series of numbers on it. The RPMs that it's running at, 5,200. The liters per minute that it's running at. We like that number to be higher. We like to be at around 4. If it gets below 3, I could have a problem. Something called a suction event. PI, pulsatility index. Most of us don't use that because it isn't really too awfully helpful. It means more to the doctors than it does to somebody like me. And then the wattage is how many watts it's burning. I don't know if that's hourly or every second or what. And then it will tell me if my batteries are charged. So let's get this back together. See, a smart LVAD user who's been doing this for some time checks his batteries before he does stuff like this. But you get to see all the worst case scenarios. All right. Oh, those masks make my nose runny. Okay. Now, before I do the anchors, I have one more thing I'm going to do. I'm going to grab an extra Tegaderm patch. And this is kind of tricky, and hard to do. So if you see me mess it up, don't be surprised, but it is not part of the sterile part. So as long as the sterile part is covered, it's good. This is how most LVAD users would be completed with it. They would say, okay, this is done. But I have dogs that like to jump on me, and this plastic is very thin, so I don't feel confident that it will stay there. So what I do is I've got the second patch, and I start it, and I'm going to go ahead and place it right there, and then I'm going to take these cotton pads and I'm going to create a square with it. I'm going to put it right underneath as best I can, right underneath. Sure sticks to your fingers good. It's going to look ugly, but we don't care. And there might be bubbles, etc. That's all right. Push it down really good. Then there is, before you can finish and get it really down well. Oh, that's interesting. It's not supposed to come apart like that. Famous last words. There we go. Now again, this is the non-sterile part, but if this Tegaderm, this new layer we put on, were to come off, it would take off the main dressing. We can't have that. So if it does take off, or even opens anywhere the main dressing, then I would have to come in and redo it. So sometimes when I go in the hospital, they pull it down to look at it, and then they put it back up, and they just put some tape on it and say, go ahead and do a new dressing kit when you get home. So I guess it's okay. I don't really know. Okay, well, I'm going to get more. Well, no, actually, I'm going to leave these on. What we have now is protective wipes for the dressings we're going to put on here in just a second. So Felicia taught me a cool trick. There's so much fluid inside these. I'm going to go ahead. I got to pull my belly up. I know, disgusting. Wiping this down, you can smell it's got a ton of alcohol in it. And I've got to wait for it to dry, so while I'm waiting, I'm going to find my kits. I have 2 of them. I actually had to replace one midweek. Sometimes they get yanked and they'll come off. It's probably upside down, isn't it? You see it says Foley anchor. A lot of people use these, not just for LVADs, for other things as well. People who have an ileostomy or a colostomy bag will use these so their colostomy line doesn't get wrenched out. I can't even imagine. That's just terrible to think of it. Okay. I think we're pretty dry. Now, all I gotta do is figure out how to get this thing open. This is the part where I should take my gloves off. So I don't take my gloves off, and I keep doing it anyway. There we go. Well, at least we got rid of the beeping. That's a major plus. Inside here are some alcohol wipe pads. I saved them. And another pad that is used for the patch to prepare your skin. So I keep these because I'm not allergic to it. There's different skin prep pads that I am definitely allergic to. So I keep those just in case. So I'm going to go ahead and place this one about right there. Put it down really good. I'm hoping I get a heart transplant and I don't have to do this much longer. First time this is stretched is kind of a pain. So basically I took one piece and passed it through the other, and it's not tight enough. There we go. That's more what we want. There we go. Okay, so that's number one. And we'll do number two. Normally this would be done a lot faster, but with the video recording and explaining everything and having your batteries fail kind of messes it up. All right. Same thing, skin prep pad, alcohol pad, instructions if you don't know how to do it. So if you're a novice, I've been watching this for 5 years, so I pretty much know how everything goes. So this one I'm going to put right here next to the other one. And I just want to check, because I'm going to do that, and then I got to find out if I'll have enough cable. I may not have put this cable in the bag right, because I should really have more room. So I'm going to move this over as much as possible and go ahead and take off the tape. The cool thing about this part is if it's messed up, like that was going to go into my belly. If this one doesn't work right, I'll take it off, or I could wait a week. Or I could wait a couple days, so if it's problematic, I could just go ahead and change it out. So you can see these parts. This one has the hole. I don't know if you can see the hole. And this one is kind of like the spear. Kind of disgusting, huh? Holes and spears. Okay, so we gotta stretch that a lot. Get this part through. So I've got it started in the hole, but we want to get it all the way to the anchor point right there. So we got one side, but we gotta get the other side. There we go. You can see both of these sides are through now. Okay, so I messed it up here, but I went ahead and folded it in because it was right at my belly button, and I was thinking it wouldn't stick very good. Not an issue. I've had to replace these many times, but something's up with this cable. I should have more cable. So we're going to check in the bag and see if I put the cable away correctly. And I actually did. So we're going to sit up, me being me. We're going to see how much line we have. We don't want too much, and we don't really want too little. Okay. Oh yeah, that's fine. If it pops off, I'll just change it. All right. I really wish I had gotten this part of the cable more in the dressing, because you can see it's bright white. So it probably normally is underneath the dressing. I'll ask Felicia, see what she thinks. And usually this is about right. Usually this would be that way. The cable would be that way, maybe another 1 to 2 inches. That's why I say this white part here normally might be covered with something. I probably could find some tape or something like that, but I'm just going to leave it. I'll ask Felicia what she thinks. She gets to watch the video. Okay, that's a dressing change. Do that once a week to make sure I don't get an infection. All right, thanks. We'll see you next time, Gadgeteers. Take care.